weiß Bescheid.
Intendo.
Welcome to All Caribbean Entrepreneurs. If you've been ready and waiting to take your business digital and get paid online while you sip something strong on the beach, this podcast is for you. We'll hear from the Caribbean's finest entrepreneurs on topics like e-commerce, business development, brand building, social media, their wins and failures. This is the only place in the region helping you navigate the digital age from the Caribbean's perspective. This is Digipreneur FM. And now, let's give it up for the Digiboss himself, Mr. Karan Rose.
We are back with another episode of the Digipreneur FM podcast, and it is your host, Karan Rose. Or if you are in North America, you'd probably be saying Karan Rose. Listen, I love to have a lot of fun on this podcast, and I mean, we are now 17 episodes in, and, you know, the community's been having a lot of fun, too. The Digipreneur community has been having a lot of fun with the podcast and also with the live shows when we stream over on our Facebook page, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter. It's been great so far. It's been a great month. You know, we've hit a month since we have launched the very first episode. That's crazy. Time is absolutely flying. But nonetheless, I hope everybody tuning in today is doing well, is doing amazing. There is a lot to be appreciative for. The opportunities that are available are immense, and it's only growing across the Caribbean region as more tools, more tech, more platforms, as things start to open up and we start to create more of our own tools that allow us to build in the digital age. Things are really opening up and allowing us to create more opportunities for ourselves. So we are in some very exciting times. Now, today's episode is 5 reasons why you should create content to become a thought leader. Being a thought leader is something that everybody should strive for because the opportunities that come with it, you know, are insane when you become that go-to person in your industry. Now, let me start off with something. There's an author that I love. He's an author, an entrepreneur, and a coach, a guy by the name of Daniel Priestley. He is the author of the book called Key Person of Influence. And I'll link to that book in the show notes. It's a book that I always recommend people to read because, you know, he really breaks down some of the key things that you need to build in your business and build within yourself to exceed in this digital age. Key Person of Influence by Daniel Priestley. I'll link to that in the show notes. But Daniel Priestley says in that book that thought leaders are the ones who have all of the fun and generate all of the opportunities. When you are a thought leader in your space, you are the first person that comes to mind when people think of a particular topic. So when they think of, you know, they think of content marketing, you think of somebody like a Gary Vee. When you think of, you know, real estate, you might think of somebody like a Grant Cardone. You think of investing, you think of Warren Buffett. These are thought leaders. These are people who are, you know, putting out content, putting out information for you to learn from, and you are seen as the leader in that space. So when, you know, when opportunities or when people, you know, think about your industry, you are one of the first people that come up to mind, and that allows you now to get a lot of the opportunities first, you know, even without having to do anything most times. You tend to get a first crack at a lot of these opportunities that are created within your space. Now, just because you create content doesn't automatically lead you to becoming the next Gary Vaynerchuk. But not creating content will get you dismissed in a world that wants to Google you first before they speak to you. Creating content allows you to share your views, your methods, initiate conversations, all within your space. And if you are committed to understanding the problems in your niche and you create valuable content that solves their problems, your community's problems, you will be able to build a community around your platforms. And once you have that community as a business, now it's easier for you to sell to your community because there's that level of trust. And then when opportunities arise, when partnerships, collaborations, or people want to seek advice, things just start coming to you because you are the leader in that space. So let's dive into my 5 reasons why you should be creating content and why you should really be pushing yourself to become a thought leader in your respective niche. So reason number 1, we value stances. We love to see our leaders express an opinion. That way we can either agree or disagree with them. This allows us to connect with those who share our beliefs and stances on topics. This allows you to express your opinions and build a following around your ideas. Now, why is that important as a thought leader? And it's because sharing your stance on whatever the topic is allows your community to identify with you. How many people do you follow and you religiously follow because of, their stance on a particular topic? It could be something in nutrition. Maybe you are somebody who, you believe in the keto diet. So the people you follow, the mentors that you follow, are all around something, doing something in the keto diet. And you might dismiss the paleo diet. You might dismiss all the other diets. But you follow those who live, eat, breathe, and preach the keto diet, right? So all of our leaders have a stance in their topic. And when you have your stance and you go full into that approach and that belief, people can either agree with you, and when they agree with you, they're going to follow you because they want to get more information. They love your angle. They love your take on whatever the respective topic is. And then the people who, don't agree with you, they're going to be on the outside. They're not going to want to follow you. Or sometimes what happens is that you have those people that do follow you just to disagree with you. And you'll find that, they're in your community as well, but they're there for the opposite reason. They're there to disagree with a lot of the things that you are saying, but it also does create a healthy conversation once it's done respectfully as well, right? But nobody wants to follow somebody who doesn't have a particular stance on a respective topic. You cannot be a generalist in 2021 and beyond. You need to have your ideals, you need to have your approach, your belief, your stance on the topic. Allow people to, jump off that cliff with you and believe in what you are preaching. And those that believe in what you are preaching are going to be hardcore supporters in your community, and they're typically going to be the ones who are going to approach you, and they want your expertise, and they're going to want to do business with you because they like the way that you are doing business, and they like the way that you see this, the way, whatever your niche is, they like the way you see it, and they're going to follow you for that. So that's a big one. You want to be a thought leader. Have a stance on that particular topic. And when you create content and you showcase that stance and your beliefs, it's just going to make it easier to allow people to identify themselves and, follow you. The next reason as to why, you want to create content and become a thought leader is because it leads to ideal clients. Your content allows us to research you before we commit to working with you. Content allows your ideal clients to self-qualify themselves and cut down on time wasting when selecting whom we want to work with. Man, I know there's a sales coach somewhere listening to this like, preach it, brother, preach it. Amen to that. Brilliant. Because there's nothing better than you putting out content and that person, that follower, that potential client has been researching you for days, sometimes weeks. Man, I've had clients that were like, yo, I've been following you for like 2 years and I'm ready. I'm ready now. I'm ready. There's nothing like putting out content, and when your audience is reading all of your content and they're making that decision that, yes, this is the person that can help me with my particular problem, and I'm at the place in my life or in my venture that I'm ready to engage them. Nothing better than, your clients self-qualifying themselves. So either they follow your content and they realize, okay, I'm not quite ready for him. So let me reach out to them when I am ready or close to ready. Maybe I might have a couple of questions that will clear up some things now that will make me ready, but nothing like a client self-qualifying themselves and contacting you and saying, hey, man, I've been following you for 8 months. I'm finally ready to work with you. So when they do reach out, there's no conversation other than when do we start? You don't have to sell them. They've already pre-qualified themselves. They know that you are the person. Hey, we love we love your stance on the topic. We love the way you see it, and we believe your approach is what we need to help our businesses grow to the next level or help me transform whatever my problem is. I love your approach. I'm ready. I've been watching you for months, for weeks, maybe a year, 2 years. I'm finally ready to do business with you. Your content leads to ideal clients and allows them to self-qualify themselves. And everybody saves time. Because there's nothing more frustrating than, you might have got a referral about somebody, you might have heard about somebody, but then you Google them and, there's no information popping up. That person doesn't have a website, they're not really active on social media. Yeah, my friend might have said, they worked with this person and they got, they're really good. But then, you yourself want to get some information and do your homework and check out to see if this person is right for you. Because that person might have been right for your friend, but that doesn't necessarily mean they are right for you. So you want to do your due diligence, you want to do your homework, and when you start to do your homework, you can't find nothing on this person. You can't find nothing on this person. That service provider is creating no content. They have no website. Social media is sporadic. They're not really posting anything of worth on their social media besides a meal, a dog pic, and a beach pic. But there's no real information to help you make a decision whether or not this service provider is right for you. And then I have to now reach out for you, and we got to play 21 questions. And who knows, maybe you're not the most, active person in the DMs, or maybe you now charge me to have the conversation. Like, all of that just makes a friction during the buying process. But when you have content being put out, even if I get a recommendation, I could now Google you, jump on your website, jump on your social media, see what your stances are, see what type of information, see how you can help me. So then when I reach out to you and I say, hey, you know what? I was referred to you by so-and-so. And, I jumped on your website and I really love what you're doing. You helped out my friend. I've checked you out. I think you can help me as well. What's the next step? How do I pay you? How do I book you? When do we start? Content cuts down on the sales process, and content gives surety to your ideal clients that you are the right person to help them transform and solve their problem, right? So again, that's your reason number 2 to create content and become a thought leader, is because it leads you to ideal clients and it cuts down on the sale process. And by the time they've done their homework and read all your content, they know that you are the one. Man, if you have your website and you're creating content, whether it's blogs, audio, a podcast, or you're embedding videos on your website, you have something like a HubSpot connected to your platform and that person has subscribed to your email list, You can see, how many times a person has visited your website and how many pages that individual person has read. And it's amazing when you click on somebody's profile, somebody who is subscribed to your website, your email list, and you see how many pages they've watched. Man, you see sometimes there are people who have read 100, 200 pages of your blogs, your content. They've been to your website, 50 times. And you can see that they've been watching your content for a year, and a year later they're ready to do business with you. It's amazing. You need to put out that content, all right? So, reason number 3 to create why you should be creating content and become a thought leader is it builds community, right? Right now, you guys are tuning into the Digipreneur FM live podcast. I shouldn't say live podcast, but the Digipreneur FM podcast, right? Our Digipreneur live series is what we stream on our other platforms. But you guys tune into the podcast because you yourselves believe in digital entrepreneurship. You guys are flying the flag of digipreneurs all around the world, right? So we have a community. In the middle of any community is someone leading the charge on the type of content or activities that get initiated in that community. Communities are powerful for sales and for brand building. #DigipreneurFM. Where are all my digipreneurs? It's always amazing that when, we jump into the comments, and we put out the podcast, we do the live videos, and it's always amazing to me when I see people, identifying themselves. They self-identifying themselves as digipreneurs. Hey, Karen, I'm a digipreneur. It's amazing when people, just jump out and say, I'm a digipreneur. Right? Or I aspire to be a digipreneur. I aspire to be a digital entrepreneur. I aspire to live that, that laptop and knapsack lifestyle where I could work from anywhere. Not just work from home. Forget working from home. That's boring. We want to be able to work from anywhere. And all we need is our computer and an internet connection and live that digital entrepreneur lifestyle, right? So there are people that again, when we do the content, they identify themselves as digipreneurs. They let me know, I'm a part of that digipreneur community. And when you build that community, you get to express your thoughts, your beliefs. You get to teach. And people come. They gather around the campfire to hear, the information that you're putting out. And then when you bring other people, other experts into the community, because you, as the thought leader, have stamped them and you have said, hey, this person can help us be better in our community, that person's going to get that same level of respect as you, right? And people are going to come, they're going to gather on the campfire, and they're going to want to hear that person speak too, because you, the thought leader in your niche, have brought that person in to talk. So communities are powerful for sales, they're powerful for brand building. Create that content and allow that community to form, and you champion that. You as a thought leader champion that community. Build that community, and you will see things grow to unimaginable heights. The digipreneur community is growing, and honestly, whenever I look at like the statistics for the podcast, and I see, what countries we are being listened to from. It's amazing. So just, as a side note, right? I'm just pulling up some of the statistics for this month as to what countries are listening to the Digipreneur FM podcast, right? We have countries from Trinidad and Tobago. Yes, that's where I'm based. Then we have Panama. And it's amazing to me because I'm like, Panama is my second highest country listening to the podcast. Third is Jamaica. Argentina, the US, Canada, the British Virgin Islands, Aruba, Barbados, Cayman Islands, United Kingdom, Montserrat, Papua New Guinea, Ireland, St. Lucia, Cyprus, Haiti, Bahamas, the United Arab Emirates, Brazil, Colombia, Germany, Guadeloupe, Guyana, Singapore, Mexico, El Salvador. And these are just this month. Countries listening to the podcast. So as you can see, the Digipreneur community is worldwide. And people are tuning in from all across the globe to be a part of the Digipreneur community. So when you as a thought leader can build that community, you can start to scale that business, build your brand, and you can, take your brand beyond the borders of wherever you are based. That's the whole point of being a digital entrepreneur, is that you can build that brand across, multiple countries all over the world, and you get to, be mobile. Just work from your laptop and an internet connection. And when you decide to put out some products for sale, whatever those products are, you have a community that wants to purchase from you, because those products are going to help them get to the next level in whatever your respective niche is. All right? So the next reason why to create content and become a digital entrepreneur, become a thought leader, is it is an opportunity generator. Content marketing leads to building yourself up as a thought leader, and they are the ones who generate the most opportunities for themselves. Opportunities start to come to you in and outside of your niche. You get to a point where you might become, successful in your respective niche, and you become this well-respected figure that people want to start to include you in other opportunities outside of your niche. And one of the first things that, starts to happen is people start to, try to book you to talk about your journey, talk about your story, and not necessarily about your respective niche, but, to see how you could help other people, use some of the skills that you've learned to help them, grow in whatever they are doing. And it might not be, again, in your respective niche. So when I started out, my thing was smartphones. I was blogging about smartphones. I built an e-commerce platform selling the products. And the reason I started to venture outside of the smartphone industry is because more questions about how I built the business, my story, and skills that I have learned in building Droid Island. People were asking me more questions about what it took for me to build Droid Island and the skill sets I've learned, and helping them with those particular skill sets that I've acquired, helping them achieve those things as well. So when the conversations for me started to happen more outside of the respective space, that's what initially made me decide to, switch things up. So creating that content to becoming a thought leader is an opportunity generator. And the most important thing is that you're going to start to get opportunities outside of your niche. Yes, you're going to get them inside of your niche, but the opportunities that you're going to get outside of your niche are going to be coming fast and frequently. And you'll be amazed, because now you'd be making money in different areas away from what your skill set or where your expertise lies, So that's a great reason as to why to create that content and become a thought leader. Now, what do we have next? Thought leaders are people focused. The reason people love thought leaders in their niche is that they are people focused. They are constantly looking for problems in their niche to solve for the community, or want your opinion when making a decision within your respective niche. So when you are creating that content and you become that thought leader, right? You have to be people focused. And when you are people focused and you start to generate those opportunities, your community is always going to come to you first to ask for your opinion when making any decision within your respective space. That is an amazing place to be, when people won't even make decisions without reaching out to you first. Now, whether you turn that into a paid service, that's one thing, or whether, this is you assisting your community and you taking those questions that people ask and you turn it into content so that you can help the masses, or, whether this is what you do in your DMs. People ask you some questions and you respond to them and give them some insights. But that place that you get to when, you are the one where everybody is reaching out to before they even make a decision in your respective niche, that is a great place to be as a thought leader. And content marketing helps you get to that place where before a decision is made, your audience feels like they need to get your blessing. They need to get your insight before making any decision within your respective space. And that, folks, is a great, great place to be, right? So those are my top 5 reasons why you want to create content and become a thought leader, all right? Your community knows that whatever you do is there to help them, and they are readily there to purchase or support your initiatives. That's just a by the way, right? You want to be that thought leader in your community. You want to build that community by being a thought leader. And the quickest, surest way to becoming a thought leader is by creating content and showcasing your expertise, your knowledge, and most importantly, have a stance. In a world full of generalists, have a stance. So you will always hear me preach digital entrepreneurship for Caribbean entrepreneurs, because I firmly believe that being a digital entrepreneur and living in the Caribbean, where cost of living is so much cheaper than life in North America and life in the UK, to me, this is the best place to live. We get to keep more money, and because of technology and the platforms that we're able to leverage, we don't necessarily need to be living in the UK or North America in order to create opportunities. You can get opportunities right here while living here and tap into markets around the world through being digital. So my stance will always be, digital entrepreneurship is the way to go. Learning how to leverage these digital platforms and tap into the global economy while living right here in the Caribbean, that is my stance. That is the way to go. And if that's your jam, if being able to work from a laptop while living in the Caribbean, sipping something strong on the beach, if that is your type of energy too, then that is exactly why you are in the Digipreneur community. If your stance was something else, if you believe that digital don't make no sense, I prefer working via traditional means, I prefer a 9 to 5, I want to punch the clock, I'm not on no digital platform. I get all my info from books, from TV, from radio. Like if you have a completely different thought process, if you believe that, nothing could be built within the Caribbean and you have to live in North America, well, then you're not going to be tuning into me, right? People that tune into me that are a part of the Digipreneur community, they enjoy the stance that I have. So making sure that as a thought leader, when you create your content, do not be a generalist. Have a stance, take a stance, live and die on that hill. Now be flexible, because things can change and you as a leader need to be open to whatever changes are happening. And, again, still having a stance on that, whether or not, this change is important and you need to adapt, or whether it's something that you have to bypass and why. You still got to take a stance, but what happens is that too many people want to be seen as a thought leader. Too many people want to be seen as a thought leader, but they don't want to offend people by taking a stance or picking a side. They want to be a thought leader that's a generalist, and they want to appeal to everybody. And you know what they say about when you try to appeal to everybody? You can't do it because your name not ice cream. So as a thought leader, it is extremely important. That's why it was my first reason, right? You want to create that content to educate your audience, to build yourself up as a thought leader. But the missing ingredient that keeps you from being seen as a thought leader is having a stance. You need to have a stance on whatever your respective niche is. And you creating all the content in the world and being a generalist and not having a stance, you will never be seen as a true thought leader in your space. So, folks, those are my top 5 reasons as to why you should create content to become a thought leader. I hope that this episode of Digipreneur FM gave you some jewels, something to think about, some food for thought. I hope to see more people creating content to showcase their knowledge, their expertise, and their stance on whatever they believe in within their respective industry. If you need assistance, always feel free to reach out on any of my social media platforms. Karen Rose on all platforms, or you could Google me, Karen Rose, or you could jump on the website, KarenRose.com, and reach out. But feel free to reach out if you need any assistance. Again, I love to see you guys winning. It's the most important thing to me, seeing you guys win, seeing the Caribbean entrepreneurs grow within the region, and giving people that hope, and not just hope, but, showing people that you can do it right from here. You don't need to leave. You don't need to leave to create an opportunity. You could be right here and create all the opportunities that you want. So I'm glad that you are all a part of the Digipreneur community. We have so much more content coming out. If you have not been tuning into the Digipreneur live series, the live show, definitely go and check it out. We stream. Most importantly, you could just jump on YouTube and follow me there, because you're going to see all of the live shows on YouTube. And you're going to see a lot more content coming out. So, follow me on all social media platforms to learn about the upcoming shows. We have quite a bit planned for you. That being said, that is our show for today, folks. I hope you guys enjoyed. Take care.
You've been listening to the Digiboss, Karen Rose. We hope your notepad was filled after this episode. Make sure to like, rate, and review the show. The learning doesn't stop, folks. And to make sure you don't miss any gems from the Digiboss, go over and follow him on all social media platforms at Karen Rose. Folks, don't just sit there with a notepad. We need you to implement at least one thing into your business before the next episode. That's the only way your business levels up. Thanks for listening to Digipreneur FM. Now go be great.